We'll just let the whole theme song play out. I'm so happy. I posted throughout this weekend. I'm so happy that no one has chose to sit on the far chair yet. But there we go. Also, it is Sunday morning. You could lay down. We can have a little Blues Clues. I feel like this is going to turn into a therapy session anyway. Yeah, there we go. Get comfy. Get comfy, Steve. There we go.
Puta, puta solo.
So you're in an appropriate color this morning. Let's kick it off. Let's kick it off here. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. 1996, when you first start at Blues Clues. What was first off, I guess, like, did you ever imagine that you would end up as a host of a kids program and be this generation's Mr. Rogers?
No.
Yeah, probably not.
I moved to New York City. Hi everybody, by the way. It's great to see you guys. Thank you for coming out. I always say, like, I know intellectually that this is a room full of strangers, but this always does to me feel like talking to old friends. So, but the fact that I ended up being the host of Blues Clues was so unlikely. I moved to New York when I was like 21 to be a very serious and pretentious actor. Like Al Pacino-y, you know, like I was like really dark, I had long hair, I had earrings, I was like really intense. And I thought the Blues Clues audition was to be the voice of like a cartoon. And the truth is, like, if I had known that it was to be on the show, I probably wouldn't have gone. Because I would have been like, I can't do that. I'm a pretentious actor, man. I would be terrible at that job. And I just kind of invented Steve at the audition, you know, out of panic, you know. And no, I did not think the show would. Back then in '96, I did not think the show would be as impactful as it was. I thought it was, honestly, I thought it was a little too smart. I thought it was too brilliant what Angelo Santamero was doing.
Yeah.
It's like, this is too out there. This is the Rocky Horror Children's show. Like, the kids are not going to respond like this.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And about the Mr. Rogers thing, I always push back on that.
Yeah.
Fred Rogers is in his own. He is a
fair.
singular thing.
I do think that, you know, also Mr. Rogers is every generation's Mr. Rogers, you know?
He's the truth is, I watched that growing up, but when I found myself on children's television, I watched again and read the books.
Yeah.
And he transcends children's media.
Yeah, absolutely.
What he was doing was a ministry, frankly. And he should be on our money.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I'm serious. I think he goes well beyond the lessons. The lessons he was teaching us as children are absolutely applicable to our lives as adults. And he is, like I said, he's a singular being. He was an avatar of the Buddha or something.
Yeah. But I think, though, you are, you know, 1996, when a lot of us were of a certain age, to 2002 is so formative, and I think you were, in terms of what was on TV at the time, probably the closest thing that we had to Mr. Rogers. But you're also, you know, I think there's a lot of Steve in you, there's a lot of you in the character, you share a name, but also you're a real guy who has challenges and troubles, and I think you reflected on the show, but then you were living your life. Did you find that? Do you still find that to be a kind of weird pressure? Like, is TMZ waiting around every corner for you to yell at a barista, and we caught the Blues Clues guy being mean to somebody? Like, do you feel that in your daily life?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that, I spoke with another children's television show host that you all grew up with, who I won't name her, and he was saying, there's a Fred Rogers problem.
Yeah.
which is that he set a bar that no human being can possibly live up to, and nor would you even want to, almost, you know? And so, because of that precedent, it seems like people are only comfortable with children's television show hosts in two forms.
Right.
One is the saint among men on earth, right? And the other is like some craven, drug-addled, like it's gotta be one or the other, right? But it's not. The truth is, we're all just regular people, you know? We're deeply flawed and have wonderful qualities, just like everyone in this room, you know? And that becomes, I used to really worry. I was like, wait, are people gonna be disappointed if they ever find out that I'm just totally normal? Which is a strange pressure that I think is a little unique to being on a children's television show.
Absolutely.
Now, to keep going back to Fred Rogers, Fred, a lot of people don't know this, but you might find it interesting. But Blue's Clues was a direct homage to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, like directly. The reason I wore the same shirt every day was because Fred had the sweater every day. And you may not have noticed when you watched Mr. Rogers as a kid, but he never left the camera. You know how in most shows they'll cut from scene to scene? He never did that. And that's why he would walk to the fish with you, and the camera would go through the kitchen and go back to the living room. And that's why I just did this thing. And everything went by, because we didn't ever want to lose the camera, right? And he would take whatever it is he was talking about that day, he would discuss it with you, and then he would take it into the imaginative realm with the trolley. And that's why I skidooed. Wow. You know, we were directly saying Fred, you know, the whole time. Very intentional.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you did the show for 6 years, about 100 episodes, and then we get to Steve went to college. What was that decision? What was that decision to pass it on to your brother and go off and pursue your own passions and projects?
You know, this is the thing everyone always asks me, and I don't have like a fabulous answer to it. It just was time.
Yeah.
You know, I was getting older. I was losing my hair. And that did factor into it, because it was like, Steve's gotta be kind of like your brother. He's a man-child, like, you know. It needed to be boyish. And I really thought, like, the people who decided that these were the pants I should wear are not gonna find me a good wig. That's for sure. Right?
Yeah, what wig goes along with that rugby shirt? Yeah.
And also my contract was up, you know? And I was like, this is the right time, why not go out exactly on top of it, you know? And I was noticing in my personal life that it was becoming difficult, more and more difficult for me to sort of make it as good as I wanted it to be, because it is very Groundhog Day, that show. Obviously, the same things happen in every show. And it just really felt like the right time, you know, and it was all amicable, and I helped find Joe, and he and I are still great friends.
So then, you know, fast forward all these years later, in 2022 with Blues Big City Adventure, and then Blues Clues and You this year, in the case of the Missing Thinking Chair, you kind of made your triumphant return. What was that decision to kind of finally come back?
Well, Blues Clues turned 25 and they were rebooting it, right? And they were like, Steve, you gotta come back and help. And I was like, no, I don't do that anymore. They're like, well, we really need you, dude. There's only like 4 people who know how to make the show. You're one of them, you know? And I'm like, no. Can I see that script? What if you did that? What if you did this? And then I just couldn't stop, you know? And I was like, you know, I was like, well, it became about how would Steve return? Where has Steve been? And I thought, dude, that guy went to college and studied forensics and became the world's crappiest detective. That's exactly what Steve would have done, right? And I love being Detective Steve. I love it. because I got the trench coat, I have no responsibilities, and I'm just like Columbo. I'm like, hey, and I still need your help. It's adorable. I think it's great. And yeah, so I write and direct a lot for the new thing, and I was very involved in finding Josh.
Yeah.
And yeah, did I answer your question?
Yeah. In the world of fan films, we need, and you know, true crime being at the popularity it is, we need like a gritty Blue's Clues, True Detective.
I pitched it.
We like Steve and Blue. We need that.
I'm not kidding. I literally pitched this show.
Yeah.
I was like, we could do it. It'd be like Ted Lasso meets Fleabag. It would be really cool.
And he's just like a grizzled, like adopted dog that he gets.
Well, no, see, I think you would never. I think Blue would be with Josh.
Okay.
I think the only character with Steve's detective show would be Mr. Salt.
All right. Okay.
Right? Because can you see like Steve like in the detective thing, like in the back of a van with the spy gear, and he's like listening in, and Mr. Salt's like on the table at a restaurant as the microphone bug, you know. He's like, they're going to shake me. Shh. I don't like it when they shake. Shh.
Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey need to watch out, because like we have to make this happen.
It seriously would work, right?
Can we? Is there someone we can like petition to make this happen? Or honestly, a lot of things that happen now is somebody goes and makes a fan film, and then that fan film becomes a thing. Somebody go make it.
Well, what I love about the idea, not just getting to goof around as Detective Steve, but when you guys were small, we spoke about the things that were important to you, like shapes and colors and, you know, graham crackers. But now we could talk again about the things that are important to you now.
Which is murder.
Which is crime and murder. No, but we could talk about, like, you know, what it's like to be an adult and what it's like to deal with all this stuff, and like we could solve problems together.
Honestly, man, like can we please have that? Because I think I need that in my adult life.
I tried.
It's truly a perfect segue, because I was going to bring up the viral video from 2021. So about that time, Steve went off to college. You know, obviously, we were all going through something individual and collective with the pandemic. I can't think of another thing that we really needed during that time for you to come back and speak to us as adults, and that we were going through this hard time in a way that you spoke to us as kids. But you know, it just meant so much to us, and I just want to say thank you for that video. I can't stress enough, like personally, how much it meant.
Thank you for saying all that, and please know that I needed that video every bit as much as you did. That was a wild time, you know. I was really going through it at that time. Like, my dog died, like,
which is really sad if you think about it.
Yes,
his dog died. Yeah.
But it was just a hard time for all of us, and to me, the internet felt especially mean during that time. Everybody was home and just kind of using the internet to kind of dig at each other and own each other, and everything. Like, people were being really mean, like it was a virtue or something. And I didn't write that thing, I just improv'd it.
Wow.
You know?
Oh my gosh, wow.
And it was just like, Steve, you should do a special message. And I was like, yeah, hold my beer. And I was like, I'm gonna kick him right in the childhood. Let's do this. And it was just that idea. It was just that idea of like, no. I don't want to talk to the 4-year-olds now. They don't know who I am. I want to talk to my friends. You know? And so, and I wanted to do it the way that we always used to do it, with a respectful, care-driven conversation. And I think that it was a very simple message.
Absolutely, yeah.
Incredibly simple, but it was respectful.
Yeah.
And I think that at that time was a missing thing.
I can't tell you how much, as an adult man in his 30s, I just needed Steve to come on and tell me how proud he was of me. And proud of all of you. Like, I mean, that line, after all these years, I never forgot you, and I'm super glad we're still friends, just really was like so powerful and connected with so many people. So,
well, it's true. We did it twice, right? The first time I cried. And the second time everybody else cried. So I was like, use that one.
So you also have the line, you're literally doing many of the things I wanted to do, talking about when you chose to leave the show. What are those things now? Like where else can we see you? What are your projects, besides the ones you mentioned of kind of being involved in the new series?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've always kind of wanted to be behind the scenes doing stuff. So doing a lot of that. I've also always been a musician. And when I left Blues Clues, I mean, they say never meet your heroes, but I did. I met my favorite band and became best friends with them and went on tour with them, and it was awesome. So, and I made a record, and it got great reviews, and I think 3 people bought it, and I think they're all here.
Yeah, there they are, yeah.
But a song that I wrote way back then is now the theme song on Young Sheldon.
It's incredible.
So technically, I'm a professional musician.
There you go. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, let's go to the crowd.